Welcome to another session of Business Startup Training. Today we'll be looking at the 3 vaccines, and we're going to try to understand the share price movement over the last 6 months. This is presented by Accounting Lectures. Like, share, subscribe. Now let's get into it. So our objective is to get a better understanding of the share price movement of the 3 main vaccines, which is the Pfizer, the Moderna, and the AstraZeneca. So we're going to look at the share price movement over the last 6 months for the Pfizer, the share price movement over the last 6 months for the AstraZeneca and the Moderna, and then the AstraZeneca. Okay, so let's look at the share price of the Pfizer. So as at the 27th of August 2020, the share price was $35.92 and it went to $42.56, the highest, which is the 8th of December 2020. That is a $6.64 increase, or a 18.49% increase over the period. And then it fell to $33.49, which is a $9.07 fall, or a negative 21.31% decrease. Now let's look at the net impact of this. The net impact of this is, if we were to add 1849 and negative 2131, the net impact is that you would have been worse off by negative 2.82. So if you bought shares in the very beginning and you've held it for 6 months, you'd have lost about 2% or nearly 3% on your share over that period. And we might be wondering, why is it that this share has fallen in value over the period? It could be that the potential for side effects on the vaccine is maybe a bit uncomfortable, and also we may have supply issues and the legal ramifications of the vaccine side effects, as well as not meeting the various quotas. Contractual arrangements is kind of having the market a bit jittery on the share. But we can also see that there's a bell-shaped curve on it so far. So I think maybe in the next 6 months we might see an appreciation of the share. But again, we don't know exactly how it would go. As the negativity, if the negativity comes down, is less negative and there's more positive in the market on this company, and in terms of people recovering well, we might see an increase in the share price. But in terms of the fundamental, which is the front end of the company, which is the income statement, it's likely to see its bottom line increase significantly, which is going to increase its reserve, which means the fundamental on the share is going to be very good. Even though you might have a decrease in the share price, dividends would be healthy, and then you might see some positivity in that area. Now let's look at the Moderna. Now the Moderna, the last 6 months, his share price was $68.03, which is the 27th of August, and then it went to $183.44 on the 11th of February. So that's $115.41 increase, or 169.65% increase. Then it fell by $28.63, or negative 15.60%, which is 154.81, and that's on the 26th of February. The overall impact, if we were to look at the net impact of this, it would be 169.65 minus 15.60 gives us 154.05. So if you bought the share 6 months ago, the share price would have appreciated by 150%, just over 150%, which is quite significant for an investor. You would have doubled and a half your investment over the last 6 months. So that's very good. In terms of the battle, it seems to be the one winning at the moment. Let's just see if that's the case all the way through. So let's look at so in terms of the chart on this, we can see it has gone up, then it went slightly down, then it went up again. So it seems to have an upward trajectory. We can see the moving average on this is also moving upwards. So therefore, we can see that this share is going to keep going up, and as sales increase, it's going to increase the bottom line as well. But let's look at the AstraZeneca. Now, as at the 27th of August 2020, its share price was 56.11. It went to 58.02, which is $1.91, or 30 or a 3.40% increase. And we can also see that on the 26th of February, it went to 48.38, which is $9.64 decrease, or 16.61% decrease. So if we were to look at the net impact of this, it was an increase of 3% and a decrease of 61%. The overall is that is negative 13.21%. So you would have been worse off if you bought the AstraZeneca share 6 months ago. So you'd have an impairment in your portfolio, and you'd have, you'd be suffering huge losses, providing you bought a huge amount. Why this is the case? There is a various strains, and it possibly not able to cover all the various strains. It is alleged, and now I am not, an expert in science, so I do not necessarily know all the information here, but it seems to be an issue around the various strains and it covering and offering the full protection for it. There's also some supply issues as well, and there's a potential of developing it further. So there's a lot of things going on. It seems a bit unsettled. The market is not entirely convinced on this share, and I think there's a bit of a waiting game going on. If there's more positivity on this company moving forward, I would think there will be an increase in the share price. But it's still benefiting from the pandemic in terms of an increase in its sales, which is also going to increase its bottom line. So an impairment in the share would be counter by an increase in dividends as well. So it would be a positive, a negative and a positive as well. We can see that from the chart that is a downward trajectory. The moving average is also trending downwards. That's not good. So I think hesitation there in terms of investing perspective, from the investing perspective. But if you are an optimist, you can maybe say, okay, fine, I'm going to go in now and hope that the share is going to appreciate in months or even years to come, because it will get it right and solve some of the problems that is currently maybe teething issues with the introduction of this vaccine. Okay, so what we can conclude that Pfizer, it has, I would say, in terms of the appreciation of its share, it's the second in terms of, it's not the worst, but is maybe in the middle in terms of that. The AstraZeneca is the worst in terms of its share price performance, maybe, and there's due to some negativity around that share, around the company as well, and the vaccine, etc. But the one that is winning right now is the Moderna. The Moderna is capitalizing on this opportunity, and its share price has increased over the last 6 months by at least 150%. So from an investing perspective, this is very good, and hopefully it will continue, and we can even see even more significant gains. I hope you like this. Like, share, subscribe. Thank you.